Welcome to the podcast. I'm really thinking, I'm getting close to a name. So I think it's going to be, originally, I said I liked RPG Protocol. I'm thinking the workouts will be protocol, or like the programs and stuff and challenges will be protocols. So I'm really thinking about plus protocol doesn't necessarily, to the general audience, like public doesn't necessarily mean as much. So I'm really thinking of calling it, instead of RPG Protocol, I will, like I said, I'll have my programs and stuff be protocols. And so it'll be like the, RPG strength protocol, weight loss protocol, that kind of stuff, mental toughness protocol, whatever it is, right? So I'm thinking of calling it RPG Health. Is that what I had? Let me check my note. I wrote it down because I knew this would happen. RPG Health. And so then that would be like the podcast, the RPG Health podcast. And then my tagline is what I'm thinking of is level up your mind, body, and spirit. And this channel would really focus more on the mind and body, and my other channel can be, it can be the spirit one. So, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So with that, let's get into today's episode. Today's kind of a part 2 to yesterday, because I haven't published the episode yet. Well, I have by the time you're listening to this. By the time I'm recording, I haven't recorded yet. But I did a video, like a short video, that was a similar topic. And it was like the whole idea of, going out and helping someone and that kind of thing. And someone pushed back on it and basically said, the opposite is true. She said almost the exact opposite is true. Like, this is not true. And this is not good advice. She said, if this was true, then doctors and therapists would be some of the healthiest people there are. And she went on to say, in fact, almost the opposite of this is true. So I got on and I commented and I was like, I'm super confused, because I know this lady. I'm like, I'm really confused. Are you saying that we should not try to help others and only focus on ourselves and be very self-centered? Because that would be the opposite of what I said. It's like, but I have a hard time believing that you would believe that. And I can't remember exactly how she said it, but the gist of it, her response was basically, if you need help, you need to actually seek help and not go out and try to help, just try to help others. And that's her idea of because otherwise, doctors and therapists who are out there trying to help others would be the healthiest people around. And then it can even give you a hero complex. So I respond with, okay, so we're talking about two completely separate things. I was like, this is in reference to getting out of a funk, not fixing mental health. And then, her comment back was, oh, okay, well, but, some people may not be able to, not realize that, just saying. And I didn't respond to that because I didn't feel like I needed to. Okay, a couple things. First off, interested in your take. Who's right or wrong on that? I don't really think I needed to qualify that. It was a short video. I don't think it was my responsibility to qualify that for every little tract of every single different mindset of people and every little way that someone could have taken my words. I post a lot. Now, granted, someone could just come across this as the first video, but I thought the context was pretty obvious. I never referenced, I don't think, I have to go back and rewatch the video. I didn't reference depression, and maybe I did. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay, sorry, I just got a email response to something I've been waiting for. So, I thought the context was pretty obvious of what I was talking about. In fact, I even on YouTube had someone comment. It was like, thanks, I've been, been stuck in this rut about not going to the gym, and this is, this is exactly what I needed to hear, and I'm getting back into it. I'm getting back into the gym. So it seemed like others got the context. If you look at my channel at all, I do a lot of these kind of encouraging videos of hey, you got this, keep going, you're doing good, you're valuable. I don't think someone would see a video like that. I don't think it's reasonable, I should say, to think that someone's going to see a video of me Most of them are like 9 seconds long. This one was like a minute and 40 something seconds because I was actually talking a little bit of saying like, hey, you've got this. Like, you're valuable, you're loved, keep going, you know? And sometimes I will say something about like, you know, like help someone else, like, you know, reach out, help someone else. I don't think it's reasonable to say that many people would see that and think, oh, okay, I'm gonna get off my meds. I'm gonna stop going to my therapist. I'm gonna stop going to my doctor. I'm just gonna go out and try to help someone. And that'll magically cure me. So I felt like the comment was reaching a little bit. Like, I don't think that that's a reasonable assumption to think that like anyone is going to stop their treatment because I told them that they should, you know, take a break and try to help someone else. Like, I feel like the context was pretty clear, but just in case not, like, here's this follow-up podcast episode. Again, this is more about someone who has been in a funk, has had several bad days, have had several bad weeks, has not been, you know, following their diet, has not been hitting the gym, who's just been in this funk, not like clinical depression, but just feeling like, ugh. You know, I hear a lot of people, oh, 2026 is just turning out to be a bit of a loser of a year. Oh, this isn't my year. It is in regard to that. So just to clarify that, get that off the table and clarified. Secondly, I'm not trying to say like clearly going out and helping some other people is not a way to deal with like a clinical depression or a chemical imbalance or, you know, something overly severe. But I mean, yeah, it is gonna help. Like so I would say it would help. I don't want to go into that too much because it's like, it's just one more positive thing. Like, you know, going to, like, I'm a big proponent of going to the gym is great for mental health. If you have PTSD and you get triggered and you're on medication and you're seeing a therapist, and I say, hey, going to the gym and getting getting in shape and getting healthier is going to help with your mental health. Does that mean that you should stop those other things? No. But that also doesn't mean that adding in something like that isn't going to be helpful. In fact, it's so helpful that some people don't ever actually even need therapy. Their therapy is the gym and the discipline that builds. And it was enough for them where I even, I can think of a few, Scotty, Tyler, there's several of them who have even struggled with Unalive and even attempts who are now, because of the fitness and the purpose it gives them in the community around it, they are much better. So it just because something isn't the end-all be-all cure-all doesn't mean it's not super helpful. Like, I can't build a house with a hammer, but I think it would be ridiculous to say hammers aren't useful for building because you can't build a house with it. Well, no, I can't build an entire house with a hammer, but it's one of the tools. It's like saying, like, well, don't tell people they need to go buy a hammer and get good at using a hammer if they want to build a house, because you've got to have a general contractor to build a house. I don't see how those are mutually exclusive. So back to that comment, like, if you're through any kind of your process, even if we're talking about mental health, not even just the funk, it's not like it's gonna hurt. And then the whole thing about like a hero complex, I just feel like that's so far reaching. Like, someone who's gonna get a hero complex is gonna have a hero complex. Like, I've seen complete degenerates who do nothing except, play video games in their mom's basement all day and eat Hot Pockets, who have a hero complex, right? And I've seen people who are literally out there helping people, basically fill in the role of a hero, super humble, and not have a hero complex. So I feel like that has really nothing to do with the conversation. That I feel like that was reaching and was kind of weird. So I'm not gonna spend too much time talking about the hero complex. Being involved, I will say one more thing. Getting involved in a community and trying to give back and find some sort of purpose by having a bigger purpose and helping others is not going to give you a hero complex. Having certain personality traits are going to give you a hero complex. Listening to the wrong motivational videos on YouTube and taking those things out of context is going to give you a hero complex. Not volunteering an hour a week at a senior center or a library is not going to give you a hero complex. So that part of the comment I thought was really weird, and mostly just I think she took the entire thing way out of context and took it to its most extreme, and looked at the worst case scenario in the most extreme whatever. And yeah, that is, again, that's out of the bounds, I think, of what is my responsibility. That'd be like saying, don't ever post a video encouraging, or don't ever try to encourage someone because they might take it the wrong way. Sorry, I think that's too far reaching, and that's way too, no. We should be part of the solution, not, let's just be silent because someone may take what we say the wrong way. So, okay, I'm gonna try to move off that. I'm gonna get stuck on that if I don't. When it comes to the idea of the opposite is true, because otherwise doctors and therapists would be the healthiest people, I disagree with that too, because first off, you're making the assumption that every doctor and every therapist is doing it for the sake of helping people, and I do not think that is true, especially with doctors. I think very few doctors become doctors to help people. In our current medical field, that is not the number one driving motivation. Like, go listen to people who, were going through med school, and you hear all the time in interviews of people who were doctors, are doctors, used to be doctors. Like, that is so far down the list. Now, nurses, that's probably a much higher, I think it's probably closer to a 50% reason for nurses. But I think very few people become doctors to help people. When you listen to motivations for why people become doctors, it's typically money or prestige or pressure from family, but the pressure is because of money or prestige. People don't become doctors to help people. That is not the easiest way to help people. It is a pretty proven way to have the prestige of being a doctor, and it's lost some of its prestige, but historically that's been especially if you come in as an immigrant, that was always a thing, right? Becoming a doctor was it's like the cliche, right, of the parents pushing the second generation kids to become doctors. And there's certain other professions too, but that was one of the big ones, is it's prestigious and it's gonna make good money. And I think people who tend to become doctors, especially surgeons, are the type of people who are already gonna be predisposed to have the hero complex, or let's be honest, probably even higher than that. Most of them are gonna they're predisposed, it's a higher concentration of people, I should say, who have that God complex, who wanna get into surgeons. So I think that's a really bad sample set right there anyways. And therapists, again, most therapists aren't therapists to try to help people, and the ones who are, they quickly find themselves, that's why there's so many stories of people who became therapists but then switched over to something else, because in any of these regulated fields, it's not about helping people, it's about pushing medication. Family practices, I mix up therapist and psychologist, but whichever one, they can write. It's all about just pushing medication and pushing into, stuff. So those are not fields that are really built around or even really allow you to actually help people. So yeah, I don't really see those as the best sample sets anyways. I think there's other professions that could have been used to better prove that point. But at the end of the day, no, I don't think. That'd be like saying becoming, I don't know. I think it's a bad comparison. Again, I feel like I caught this lady in a bad time, at a bad, something was going on, and she was frustrated because this entire argument definitely seemed kind of desperate and kind of reaching. And I like her, and I have a lot of respect for her. But it seems really out of pocket, even for for her. And I just feel like even the logic structures are off. That'd be like saying, don't get a gym membership to get healthy, because if gym memberships made you healthy, then every person at the gym with a gym membership would be healthy. And it's no, I think we understand the concept that a lot of people get a gym membership and never go. A lot of people go to the gym, but never actually do the right things to get healthy. They're just there, right? We see that all the time. You go into a Planet Fitness or an Anytime Fitness, and you see tons of people, and you're like, man, I've been seeing you here for 2 years, and you've not lost any weight, you've not got healthier at all. Like, what are you doing here? So, and just because something is a path, again, that's like saying like, oh, this is the road I can take to get to Cincinnati. Well, no, I disagree. The opposite's true, because otherwise, how come so many people drive this road and never make it to Cincinnati? Okay, I think you understand the logical patterns here. So I think I've kind of debunked most of that comment, hopefully. And the idea that, I don't know, just the whole thing kind of rubbed me wrong, because it was like, there's so much negativity in the world. There's so much whatever. And it's like, why you got to try to put down the people who are actually trying to help other people, right? And I'm in the beginning of this journey of really doing some self-evaluation and trying to shift away from even in some of my more altruistic endeavor. I mean, the work I do is I'm a pastor, so I'm a profession where I like to be helping people. But even that, realizing even some of that is kind of self-centered, or at least based around ego, and making a shift. Like, and then it's crazy, because it's like you got people out there posting pictures of money and cars and all this stuff. And yeah, I know they still get hate comments, but like, why are you going to go after the person who's actually trying to help people? And it's like, okay, I was talking to a specific set of people, and you're offended because that is not good advice for a different set of people. I don't know. The whole thing rubbed me the wrong way. And it kind of gets back to my whole, like, the internet as a cesspool kind of thing. Is it's like, why do we just always want to tear down? And I'm going to pivot this a little bit. So my wife is rewatching Home Improvement. Tim, the Toolman Taylor, the whole thing, right? And I think she's watching it with my youngest. And so, it's been on the last few days. And last night after dinner, they were watching it, and I ended up watching like quite a bit. I think I watched like 1.5, 2 episodes, something like that. I came in partway through one episode that they'd been watching before dinner. And it's good memories. I remember I can literally, as like the theme, the show intro comes on, like I can remember laying on the floor, as a kid, all excited to watch and see certain episodes. And I can remember watching that episode, and so there's like nostalgia. And the show's funny, like I'm laughing and things are funny, but it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And I even made the comment to my wife. I was like, man, like I'm realizing how much of this show is just negativity and just putting other people down. Like Jill is constantly putting Tim down for being an idiot. Tim is constantly putting Al down for being a loser. The boys are constantly harassing each other and just being super hateful. And I get it, fine, they're 3 brothers. But like, just every single joke, someone is the expense of the punchline. And the entire thing is just putting down. And I get it, each episode typically has some sort of positive type message. But at the end of the day, like, you watch these episodes, you don't always walk away with that message, and it's that constant negativity. So, I don't know, maybe I'm relating to the original comment more now that I'm realizing. But like this idea of like, it's just, I'm sitting here, I'm like, this is just a barrage of watching people verbally beat up other people and be considered like the good guy, right? Like Tim's the good guy because he's the hero of the story. It's his show. And Jill's the good guy because she's smarter than her husband. So she's able, he comes home and then she gets to be the queen of the house. He's the king of Tool Time. And I'm just watching it. I'm like, no wonder our generation is so messed up when like all the shows we watched were just people putting others down. And then, you got Tim Toolman Taylor constantly harassing Al, harassing his mom, calling his mom fat, and all these things. And then we wonder why then people get on the internet and try to emulate that. Because these are the shows we grew up with. We grew up with this, and it was funny. And at the end of the day, oh, it's just the show. It's, it is what it is. It's and then like anyone ever gets called out on the internet, and it's like, well, this is just what it is. It is. This is how it is on the internet. But I'm going to keep coming back to this. Does it have to be? Okay, fine. This is what the internet is, but does it have to be? You know, like I'm watching this show with one of my sons, John Cena's What Drives You, and it's basically just a YouTube show that they put on the Roku channel. And the second episode of season 1 is with Jelly Roll, and he told this story about how he went to go get some stuffing for dressing. I call it stuffing. He called it dressing. We live in very different parts. He lives in Tennessee. I grew up in California. For Thanksgiving, and the place he was going to get it from was sold out. And he was like, oh, I'll pay this lady like $1,000 to come in and make me 2 trays of it. And she probably charges like $40 a tray. And he's, I'll pay her $1,000 because I got to get this for my family. I got like 40 people coming over, and I promised them this amazing stuffing. Again, he's saying dressing. And he doesn't have a way to contact her though, because I don't know all the details. So basically he records the video, he puts it on the internet, and he's like, someone who sees this today has got to know this lady. Let her know I will pay her $1,000 if I can get 2 trays of this stuffing. And, someone did, and they messaged her, and I'm sure she was delighted going into Thanksgiving, which is basically pre-Christmas, to get an extra $1,000 for, Christmas presents. And so I'm sure it was a huge blessing for her. It was a blessing for him because he was able to get it. And, he commented in there like, and he kind of talked about the internet as if it was like a sentient entity. And he's like, of all the things the internet, could have done, it chose to do that to help me. And kind of talking about how like the connotation there is the internet is typically negative, and it chose to be positive that day. But really, the internet is no different than a highway. If you think about it, like you can drive, let's just say north or south, and let's say, one way is positivity, one way is negativity. And it's just a highway that people can get on and drive either towards negativity or towards positivity. And so my thing is like, does it have to be? Like, okay, fine. If it's a highway that people typically take to negativity, does it have to be? And we just need a culture shift of people who are just tired of it. Like, guys, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the internet being so negative. And it's such a thing to where, like, even I'll see a video and immediately think of, like, some negative comment. And I'm like, why? Why do you think that way? And it's like, it's like a dump, right? Where we all have access to this big landfill that we can take things that our frustrations and our, things that we're disillusioned with. Tomorrow's episode is going to be kind of about this like negative mindset of just accepting that life sucks. And, people who just accept life sucks and there's not much you can do other than just endure and exist. And we take all the frustration from living in that. And then, okay, well, but now it's my time to go to the dump and unload some of this baggage and unload some of this frustration. But then the problem is it's not just a landfill, it's someone else's yard when it's the internet. So there's actually a difference. So we treat it like it's a landfill, but it's someone else's front yard that you're pulling up and unloading your trash into. And if they run out and say, whoa, hey, what are you doing? This is my yard, this is my private property, don't unload your trash here. Basically saying, hey man, like I posted this of my run or my daughter's recital or my improv group, a video or something, right? It's like, I don't even know you. Why are you coming in here? Hey man, it's the internet. You put it out there, it's fair game for us to come and make comments like this. This is how the internet works. Like imagine running out and be like, whoa, hey, why are you backing your truck up to my front yard and unloading all your trash? Hey man, this is a city. This is how it works. You've got property. It's available for us to come and dump stuff on. You shouldn't have bought a house. If this is part of being a homeowner, you shouldn't have bought a house and put yourself out there if you didn't want this. And obviously that sounds ridiculous, but I think it's just as ridiculous to say the very fact that someone put themselves out there by posting something opens them up to criticism. Now, I get it. If they post a political comment or a religious comment and you have a disagreeing opinion and you get into, that's one thing, because they they are kind of asking for debate in that sense. But one, that doesn't mean it's appropriate to then go and insult them personally. And two, like someone posts a video of themselves doing something completely unrelated to fitness, doesn't necessarily give you the right. And I get it. Sometimes I want to get in there and I want to comment like, brother, what are you doing? Like, you gotta make some changes in your life. But it's none of my business. I don't know their journey. You know how long it took me? For years, I was like, I need to get in shape. I need to get in shape. I'm going to get in shape. It's my duty and my responsibility to my family, to my faith, to my youth ministry, to all, like, I need to get in shape. I need to set a better example. It was a process it took. And if I had a bunch of people just telling me I was fat and a fat loser all the time, that probably would not have motivated me to do it faster. It probably would have motivated me to eat more and be more depressed. So this has been an interesting episode. Both episodes I've recorded 2 episodes a day. Both of them have been, maybe I'm not quite, my routine was a little different today. I normally come in and I start recording right away. I normally spend a little more time doing some other stuff. So I don't know, but I feel like these 2 episodes I recorded today are both a little scattered. So I don't know if maybe just I wasn't quite there on the topic, or if it's because they're just these kind of open-ended, like, here's this big problem. We all acknowledge it's a problem, but we all just kind of act like there's no solution to the problem. But I think we should. Like, how can we fix this? So maybe it's just because of that kind of huge open-ended nature. But do me a favor, leave a comment. I want to know your thoughts on this. Even better, even extra points, instead of just your thoughts or your opinion, what are your ideas on, like, how can we as a society fix this? How as a society can we begin to make the culture shift? And I know some of you might say, oh, you need to make a culture. Yes, but how? How do we make the culture shift? Like, okay, yes, the boat is going the wrong direction. You need to turn the boat around, but you walk into a cruise ship. Like, what buttons do you need to push to make it turn around? How do we begin to make a culture shift? And is it just a matter of just like a cruise ship takes a long time to turn around? Is it a slow, like people like Scotty K Fitness and Iron Sanctuary and Tyler, I can't think of his last name. Is it Seth? I don't know how to pronounce it. Like, is it just more and more people like this? I mean, really, lean beef patty kind of falls in this category. Hers is a little more quiet, but in terms of like, we just start to make, there's just more and more of us making this culture shift. Like, Scotty has no problem calling you out. Like, when you say something super rude. You got Joey Swoll, who, you know, they're calling out bad behavior in gyms. Do we just have to wait a generation for a culture shift? I don't know. We need more people, though, and this is what drives me. You know, he asked them in the show, what drives you? This is what's been driving me lately, because I don't like this. Like, I posted that I was uncomfortable recording that video, but I felt like I should, and then she got on there and said, I disagree, you're completely wrong, it's the opposite. To me, I hear that, I go, see, I have no business doing this. I don't like this. It stresses me out. It ruins my day when someone gets on there. Like, I don't like it. So therefore, I should just not be on the internet. I should not have a podcast. I should not have YouTube channels. I shouldn't be posting things because I'm not wired for it. But this is what drives me is we need more of us to step up and have this culture shift and be that voice and be one more creator, one more voice saying, no, we're not gonna accept this. This isn't okay. Like, it's not okay just to get on the internet and just tell someone, oh, they're fat and ugly and they should just go kill themselves. It's not okay to be like, oh man, your fan fiction chapter that you just posted is so cringy. I'd kill myself if I were you. Like, that's not okay. And we need more people saying that's not okay. And we need more people encouraging others. And part of me cringes at the thought of, oh, so you're going to try to be one of these influencers, huh? And I hate that. And I hate the fact that I'm sure people I know talk behind my back. I'm sure they see my videos and they cringe and they mock and make fun. And part of me wants to just delete everything off the internet, get rid of all my apps. Oh, and by the way, when I started this back, like 6 months ago, back in I think about June, I had mostly been off the internet. I had deleted the apps off my phone. Maybe once or twice a month I'd download Instagram and check a few things, and then I'd delete it again. I almost never downloaded Facebook. Like, my social media, the closest to it was basically YouTube. I'd watch YouTube videos. And I was even trying to pare that down because of the comments and this stuff. It was getting to be a little too social media. And so, yeah, this whole idea, Mr. Cena, I'm going to borrow your premise from your show, what drives you, what drives me, this is what's been driving me is, yeah, it's kind of embarrassing to try to be with someone and try to be one of these people. You have no business, but we need more. We need more voices. We need more people from our generation, the next generation, standing up and saying like, no, this isn't okay. We're not going to accept this anymore. And this may have been business as usual, but we're not doing it anymore. We're going to make changes. So here I am with what will probably be, we'll see if this name sticks, RPG Health. Talking about health, sometimes physical, sometimes mental. Really focusing on that. But here we go. One more voice. It's hard. Like, I don't like it. Like I said, I'd rather be anonymous. And my buddy Doug, I talk about him every so often. He's the same. He also, like both of us, we're rocking that whole no social media thing for a long time. And about the same time, we both felt like we see the way the world's going. We feel an obligation. Me with my video skills, like both basically with our communication skills, me with my video and him with his writing, like we need to stand up. And, it's not easy. It's uncomfortable. There's a lot of self-doubt. We talk about this all the time, the questioning, the self-doubt. But someone needs to do it. And not just someone, a lot of someone's. So, as a lot of these people who went before me have inspired me, and I can be the inspiration for the next people. And it's the more of us that stand up. And again, not trying to be super famous, whatever, but it doesn't take a lot of influence. Because, let's be honest, if I only influence 10 people, if it's enough of an influence, that's enough of an impact. And then they go off and they start doing their thing. And it doesn't mean they all have to go out and become content creators, but it could just be a matter of, I'm going to be an influence of positivity and building up instead of tearing down at work. I'm going to stop jumping in and being one more person when, we're harassing whoever. I talk about the car a lot. Like, they're typically every day there was a different person to get picked on because of something. Like, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to not partake in that. I'm going to call it out when I see it. And I'm going to go out of my way to try to encourage that person. And that could be your influence. Maybe you never post anything online. It's not about that. Maybe you're like, I don't want to be a creator, but I can get online and I can go and just comment positive things on people's videos. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to end this episode with that. Hopefully, that is encouragement to one of you, at least. I would love to know your thoughts in the comments. With that, have a blessed day. I will see you in the next episode.